Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Xbox the Box, an Xbox podcast. My name is Potato Chief, and I'm with my good friend Alice. How you doing, Alice?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Now, I think I just like cutting down on games, but I've certainly been playing more on Xbox. But I thought I would begin by offering something that is an Xbox.
Ooh, okay. Go on. Go ahead.
I saw the first episode of The Last of Us on Sky.
Ooh, I haven't watched it yet. Any good?
It's actually pretty good because I know we'll be like dogging about like the Part 2 Last of Us and the remaster known as like Last of Us. No, it's not remaster, it's remake. Oh gosh,
Remake.
There's things mixed around, but
Cash grab.
It's
The
yeah,
Last of Us cash grab.
Yeah, but apparently the HBO's worked with like PlayStation Studios to release the TV's version of like The Last of Us, which is from the original. So you have like that guy from the Mandalorian or some sort, and there's
The
also like
Mandalorian.
Ellie too.
Oh, what's his name? I
Mandal-
can't remember his name now. The actor.
I don't know if it's Petro or something.
Yeah,
I don't
Pedro
know.
Pascal. That's it. Pedro Pascal. Yeah, he's also in Game of Thrones, and yeah, he's everywhere now. Everyone loves him. Everyone loves him. So perfect casting. I'm not so sure about
Also-
Ellie, but whatever.
He also has a trans sister, so it's like, yeah,
All
cool.
right. Yeah,
But
and what's the name of Ellie? The one who plays Ellie. She's just come out as non-binary as well. If that for you'd be interested in that.
oh, sweet.
There you go.
So, Ellie
But yeah.
actress is
Yeah,
It's
Bella something. Bella Ramsey.
no. That's for the game. I think the TV show is played by. Oh gosh. Ashley Johnson.
That's the game. Ashley Johnson's the game, and Troy Baker is.
Oh no,
Joel
they
in the
played
game.
in the original games.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
No, the actress
But-
in the TV show is non-binary. Yeah. So yeah,
Oh.
I've heard this. I've heard
Oh,
this.
she also plays one of the characters in Game of Thrones, and
Yeah.
also played in The West Witch. But actually, that reminds me of that character who, yeah, it was the one who's like a tough leader in the
Game
around
of
the
Thrones.
North in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
And I thought
she-
that's a really interesting character. So she gets to play Ellie from the game. So
Yeah, she had her own little section of the north with like 4 or 5 people that she led, which was hilarious. But she was like the most powerful leader in Westeros. I used to love Game of Thrones back in the day until they kind of ruined it. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what's going to happen with The Last of Us, because when season 2 comes out, it's going to be a train wreck. So
I would say I watched the first episode and I still remember the story from the game. So
Yeah.
it does have a similarities there. It also
Yeah.
has an emotional emphasis, like it just reminds you what you face up against, and also like gives more time to the characters, especially the Joel's daughter thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, yeah, it just definitely works out fine, and I think it just works out to be how do I put it? It's a much better character. Sorry, what do I put? Yeah, and then in the game that The Last of Us, you
Yeah.
have your choices, and you want to see whether you see the environment there. Like if you want to see the desolate city when you get into one of the levels, you go in and you see all the towers there, and I thought, yeah, that looks really cool. But in the TV show, it just gives you what you need to know, and it already shows like the skyscrapers collapsing on each other towards the end. And it's like, wow, it's just really interesting. Because it just kind of works in a different perspective compared to the TV show, and I think that's really really cool.
I need to watch it, because The Last of Us Part 1 I did adore. I loved that game. I'm just not a fan of the second one.
Are you sure? Well, be careful, because you're referring to the remaster when you should be referring to the first Last of Us game, which is released 10 years ago
The PS3
as the
version.
original Last of Us. So this is the game we should be focusing on, not the remaster.
Not the remaster, the PS3 version, or maybe even the PS4 port, but not the PS5 version, even though I haven't played the PS5 version. But yeah, it's annoying though, like the discourse with The Last of Us, because I remember I commented on a video or like a thing. It's like it's a shame I don't like. It's like because it's this the first video game adaptation. I'm hoping they change season 2 and don't follow the game for season 2. And then everyone's like, you're a neckbeard, like incel and all this shit. It's like, okay, whatever. Just because I don't like the plot of something, like what the hell? It's like really like people get really offended because you don't like the plot of something. It's baffles me.
That's pretty much toxic fandom, as far as I know. But
I feel like it's one of the most toxic
there's-
fandoms in the whole gaming community is The Last of Us, unfortunately.
I'm glad you said gaming community because it's just like saying, oh, this one is the most toxic, and like, whoa, you forgot about Steven Universe and Ruby. Those fandoms are much worse.
That is true, yeah. But yeah, it's like you can't say you don't like The Last of Us Part 2 without it becoming you're scared of strong, powerful women and stuff like this. It's like, no, I just didn't like the plot. I thought it was really badly written. Like, it's like...
I just think there's a lot of misunderstandings there, and it's just like talking about 2016 Ghostbusters when you complain about the film and then people think as if you're complaining about the female cast. That's not the point.
No,
but now,
exactly.
looking back on it, I just feel like I should definitely watch the 2016 one because I've seen all the 3 other Ghostbusters films.
Yeah.
There's also the 70s Ghostbusters, which I thought, hey, it's got a nice catchy theme song.
I love the original Ghostbusters. To be honest, I've not seen the 2016 one. I think I obviously people are mad about it because it's women, but I just didn't want to watch it because it felt like a cash-in to me. It just felt like it was like cheap nostalgia, but then I like cheap nostalgia sometimes, so I don't know.
Actually, it's still got the same kind of problems as the latest Ghostbusters, which is Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
And it's just like combines nostalgia with new stuff. And I feel this is the same kind of problems faced with the 2016 version. But I would see if I can still like watch the 2016 one. See if I can find it.
That's our homework.
Yeah, so I might...
That's our homework for the week. We got to go watch Ghostbusters 2016. I've seen Afterlife. I enjoyed that because I like Wolf House from Stranger Things, and I like Paul Rudd. So I thought I was like, oh, I definitely have to watch it. It's not as good as the originals, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Afterlife, and it was. It's not. What I appreciate about it as well. It's not like. The Force Awakens or anything. It's not like a rewrite of the original film. It's a totally different plot, which I appreciate. Because some films they'll do a remake and it'll literally be the same film beat for beat, just with like new characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2016, known Answer the Call, is actually available on Amazon Prime, but you can get it from like many video services. But seeing we're going off topic.
We're really off topic here. I love it.
The Last of Us, the TV show, is really good. I would recommend watching it because I really do enjoy the story from the original PlayStation 3 game. And it looks as if they're going to faithfully adapt it into a really good TV series. So it is extremely promising, and I cannot wait for the moments they can recreate on the screen.
Yeah.
So I'll be having a good watch of it, and I really do hope it comes out great, even as someone who chooses Xbox over PlayStation.
Me too. Me too, exactly. And as I said, it's the only time I've ever wanted them to drastically change a plot for Season 2. I'm really hoping that they don't do the same plot as the second game, but we will see.
It's possible. It's possible. Like...
Yeah.
They have the powers to change the plot because they already added in like different scenes in the first episode. But who knows? They might probably look through part 2 and like change it, and could turn out better, or it could be just as bad as a game. But yeah, I know. Hey, people complain about it in the comments. I don't know, but we can all agree that the TV show is really good and it's worth watching. And I hope people who follow us for the Xbox stuff won't mind about that because I mean it's just a video game still, so yeah.
I mean, we could probably talk about the Fallout TV show when it comes out, and we've talked a little bit about the Halo TV show. So we're here for it. We're here for that kind of stuff. Video game adaptations becoming more and more of a thing. My optimism for season 2 of The Last of Us is that without trying to spoil it, let's just say Pedro Pascal's character is not in the second game as much as he is in the first game, and I'm thinking that people will like Pedro Pascal, and they're gonna not want to. They'll want him in the second series and not write him off. If that makes any sense, or that's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah.
Pedro Pascal is a highlight of the show.
Sorry, we just had a little bit of technical difficulty. Sorry about that. I forgot where we were. We were talking about Pedro Pascal and how great he is and how much I love the Mandalorian and how I want his babies. Anyway, let's move on to what we've been playing. Have you been playing anything interesting at all? Or no? Just watching TV?
I played something.
Ooh. Do tell.
I think I may have played a bit of Vampire Survivors, but I don't know if it's like last week or the week before. But I have actually been playing the Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice. Any good?
So,
I wanted to go back to it since they've updated it.
I just went into it and turned on ray tracing, and I thought, because I was a bit skeptical, and I thought as if it hasn't been treated particularly well, and I think there was a lot of controversy surrounding it, so it's just kind of a bit iffy, but it's still popular with trans people, especially trans women, and they certainly enjoy it. So when I went into it, it's just wow, the environment's interesting, and I think when I saw only the first episode of Cyberpunk 2077 Edgerunners, it's the environment's interesting and it's a bit risque, but then when I went into it, it just feels wow, it's got really immersive. Also, it's got a really good tutorial section where you just jack in and you just go inside the computer simulation, and it's you learn how to play the game. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Oh. And that's all before I went for the cutscene at first, went for the flashback, and I stopped before starting the first actual mission of the game. And I thought, it will be interesting if I play more, but because of my mental health and also trying to do different things like reading, I haven't had time to go into it.
Oh, that's fair. I really want to try it though. I have to go back to it. I've got it. I bought it for cheap off Amazon. Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I haven't watched Edgerunners either. I need to watch that as well. We're talking about TV shows. I've heard that's good.
I would say there's a lot of banging around in the anime, but I don't know if it's the same with the game as well. But anyway, it's just I just started playing it and I thought I might check it out because I think I'm running out of juice for everything else. I don't want to get hooked into Civilization 6. Yeah. And I should be playing Pokemon Arceus, which I think I may have played a little bit past week, but not so much. Yeah. I still had to do the Faceless video. I don't know if it was a bit late, but I would still have to do some recording for it. But I'm just gonna have to see about that. But apart from that, I've also played some Halo Infinite. There's Joint Fire event this week, and I thought, yeah, it's interesting. It's Cyber Showdown, only you don't get anything new apart from those 10-week awards. You get an emblem, 2 new visors, and a GFO attachments. And yeah, it's just quite decent. But also Joint Fire game mode is actually really interesting because it's the Halo take on spies versus mercenaries from Splinter Cell games. Yeah. One side spies and sneaks in, and then the other being mercenaries try to gun down the spies. Halo kind of changes this formula where the mercs have to defend the flag and can spam a lot of sensors around to check for any people, whereas spies just only have a pistol and a storm rifle and have infinite invisibility. they have to like avoid the sensors and then make sure they capture the flag. So it's really interesting, and also it's actually quite popular in the moment. So it's not that hard to like find a game. But apart from that, it's just like you got the return of Cyper cosmetics from like last year, as well as the Rusty Armadillo sets in the shop. But if you don't feel like supporting 343i by purchasing their items, then you're not missing out much. It's just repeats.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I need to play it. I didn't realize there was an event going on. I love going back to Halo Infinite every now and again. Whenever there's an event, I usually try and go and play, try and do the 10 tier battle passes and stuff. That's interesting. I've not played Halo in a while, but I should go back to it and try that. I've been playing Inscription.
What is that?
Inscription. Well, so I was going to say this is the front runner now for my game of the year that didn't come out this year. for this year, because it came out in 2020, I believe. It's a card game escape room game that's also roguelike. It's very complicated to explain, but it's just really addictive. It's like it's a mystery. You're trying to figure out what the mystery is and all that, and it's like it's like a really weird, it's really messed up card game. It starts off as, and you like got to try and figure out how to escape the lodge with the guy who's playing the game, and then it's like you think that's the full game, and then it's a twist, and then the game changes into something completely different. And I completed the second part of it, and now the game's completely different again. It's really weird. It's like got very like almost like a Doki Doki kind of if you play that, it's like that kind of feel to it. It's like a horror game, but it's a card game. It's really hard to explain. It's just really, really good. It's like a really, really addictive game, and I can't stop playing it. It's on the Switch.
Oh, that sounds very good. So you're saying it comes out on Switch, but it also comes out on Xbox as well?
I've been waiting for the Xbox version for like a year. I got impatient and finally just gave up and bought it on Switch because I'm watching videos about it. I was like, this game looks really cool. It looks right up my street. I like card games, and it's a really messed up, creepy card game, and it's like it's really clever and weird. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like whenever you think it's something else happens, and it's like you gotta solve puzzles and stuff inside the world, and the cards like talk to you and stuff. It's really weird, but it's really surreal and creepy and weird and fun. I would recommend trying it. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's really cool. Yeah, because I watched I think it was Markiplier. Markiplier, I think I watched him play it like last year or the year before. I watched him play like the first section of the game. I was like, I don't want to see any more because I don't want to be spoiled, so I like stopped watching his Let's Play. But I really enjoyed what I saw of it, and then, now I'm playing it, and I'm really addicted to it. And I've basically been up till it's my new Vampire Survives. I stay up till 3:00 in the morning playing it, get addicted again.
At the same time, I'm actually planning out my short stories for contests too.
Nice.
The iPad Mini is useful for me and it helps me out trying to plan out. Whereas you just stay up until 3 a.m. playing something that is not on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've been waiting for it to come to Xbox. It's got to come to Xbox eventually. And also, I want to try and complete it in the next 2 days because Fire Emblem Engage is coming out on the 20th, and Fire Emblem Free Houses was my game of the year when it came out like 2-3 years ago. So I'm really looking forward to playing the new Fire Emblem. So I'm going to be obsessed with that as well.
And so far, it's been received, so you must be hooked. That's where you're going to be hooked to it. But anyway, now the question is, when Inscription is going to be coming out to Xbox, do you absolutely believe it will arrive on the Xbox Game Pass?
I hope so. I really hope so. It's a really good game and everyone should play it. If it doesn't come to Game Pass, I'll be a bit bummed. But yeah, they said that it was coming to Xbox at some point, like about a year ago, and there's still no sign of it, which is really upsetting because it's on PlayStation, it's on PC, and it's on Switch. So I've been playing it on the Switch because I've basically got impatient because I really wanted to play it. because it just seemed like my cup of tea, and it is. I really enjoyed it. I, I love the fact that I've stopped playing God of War to play it. I was playing God of War, and I'm bored of this now. I'm going to play a card game.
Oh, you're bored of the God of War.
I am, yeah. I'm really bored of it. I'm sorry. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not super into cinematic cuts. I'm not really into games where it's like 20 minutes of cutscenes and then a little bit of action and then more cutscenes. That's not really my thing. I like games that have different gameplay mechanics and you have to think. It's like it almost feels like a bit mindless God of War a little bit. You know, you just mashing the attack buttons and stuff, and it's like it's not a bad game. It's just not my thing, really. It's not my cup of tea. I'm more of a I like playing games with different gameplay mechanics. I get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it feels too much like 2018 to me, like the God of War, the original God of War game, which I've already spent 20 hours playing like this last year because I only just finished God of War 2018, and then Ragnarok came out, so I was like, oh, it feels a bit too similar to me. I kind of already done this. I probably will go back to God of War, but I am a bit bored of it at the moment, to be perfectly honest. It's a bit harsh, but
Does it bore you if it actually tries to patronise you with their dialogue?
No, I don't know if it's trying. It's a bit handholdy. You are right a little bit sometimes. I think Horizon's worse for that. Hey, go over there. I should climb that rock over there. I should climb this. I should grab this. It's like, yes, we know, Aloy. Shut up. I'm trying to play here.
But anyway, if I was to get a PlayStation 5, would you recommend me to get God of War Ragnarok on it?
If you were gonna get a PS5, then yeah. But I personally, it's gonna be sound super fanboy here. It's not worth buying a PS5 at the moment. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. It's not worth it.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it still because I think I've got the space to fit it, but I just don't really have any kind of purpose for it, and it's for those same kind of reasons why I sold off my PS4 to my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So if there's any new games console, I would rather buy the Switch OLED instead of PlayStation 5, even though I got a Switch.
You said you got the room for it, so you've got like a whole spare bedroom just to put the PlayStation in, right? It's like, whoa, it's bloody huge. I'm a giant. I'm like 6'5", and it looks massive compared to me. It literally takes up half my body. It's ridiculous. I personally, for me, I don't see. I kind of almost regret buying a PS5 at the moment because it's just collecting dust most of the time. God of War is good, enjoyable, but it's not really my type of game. The game I probably spent the most time on and enjoyed the most is probably... I was going to say Death Stranding, but no, it's actually Spider-Man. Spider-Man, obviously. When Spider-Man 2 comes out, then buy a PS5. That's my recommendation, because Spider-Man is always an awesome game. They're my favourite PlayStation games. Or if there's a new Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima is awesome as well.
I would definitely buy a PlayStation 5 for that and the Spider-Man 2 game as well, because I think these games are really come out on top. But I haven't actually played Horizon, and I thought it's really interesting, but it just appears as if the original is like by far the best of the bunch. I don't know how the remaster is going to go on, so...
I don't like Aloy's character, and I also feel like the problem with Horizon is always been when it's released. Horizon 1 came out like a week after Breath of the Wild. Horizon 2 came out a week after Elden Ring. Both of those games are far superior open world games, I'm sorry. If you want to play an open world game, play Breath of the Wild or play Elden Ring. Do not play for Horizon because it's better than them. I'm sorry, it is. And I feel bad saying it, but it's true.
Well, I think if anyone wants to play an open world game, they would get Spider-Man on PlayStation if they want to stick to their own console.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man 2 is the reason I bought a PS5, but I basically got impatient and bought it early, and now I'm like just looking at it collecting dust at the moment. So. You
do realise you can get a Spider-Man on the PC now, so you're not really missing out if you didn't buy the PlayStation 5, but hey... Yeah. But I think interesting enough, I talked to someone else who's got a PlayStation 5, and when I spoke to him, he said, like, I can get Xbox games on the PC, and I can like play the PlayStation exclusives on the PlayStation 5. But
That's
it's just
fair.
the same way with like Xbox. Like you can play Xbox games on there, even though you can play it on the PC. But
Yeah.
now you get PlayStation games coming on Steam as well. So what's the argument there?
Yeah, I mean, but with me personally, is that I like PC gaming. I think it's fun, but when I'm in work all day and I'm sat behind a computer and I'm on my desk and I'm just sat up against a keyboard and mouse, like that's how I work. When I play video games, I like to lay back on my sofa or on my bed with a controller and have a giant 4K TV and play at that. So I like playing. I like playing games on console, and I like having the option of doing both. You know, like
I prefer console gaming
yeah,
these
me too,
days
me too. And
because I
that's
used to
why I
have a
prefer
PC
Xbox.
that I used to have a PC that I was hoping to set up as like a games console to put on the TV, but now I just feel like as if I should be getting a Steam Deck if I want to go on a console version of the PC
Yeah,
because
for sure.
PCs are just meant to be played at the desk, and I don't think it was easy enough for me to set up. But if you've got any recommendations on how I would turn a PC into a games console, let me know in the comments. But
Same
apart
here.
from that, it's just like, yeah, that's right.
I would love some
But
recommendations because I would love to get into PC gaming, but my laptop is ancient and I don't really have the space for a desktop really. So if anyone has any recommendations for like a gaming laptop, or should I just get a Steam Deck and just play my games on that? Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate that because PC gaming is something I would love to get back into, especially with Game Pass because I got the ultimate version of Game Pass, so I have a load of games to play on PC. So I can play on PC and I can play on my Xbox. It's like, yay, winning!
I must add, so I must add that I recently overwritten the Windows on my gaming PC with Linux, so I got like Kubuntu installed, and I just set it up, and it just like much nicer because I know this computer is not going to be compatible with Windows 11, so more people go into Linux or
do,
even Macs.
do you know what other game is on PC? Inscription. You should play it. It's good.
What else?
And Vampire Survivors as well. Speaking of which, we can move on to the news, I guess. Just getting my news articles up. News.
You're going to be ending up changing the tune every week.
Every week I change the news tune. I think that I ripped off the Kind of Funny one there. They do that. I kind of ripped that tune off. I'll come up with a new tune every week. That's like a thing. So I was going to mention... as I mentioned Vampire Survivor, I'm going to skip to news story number 3 and we'll go back to number 1. The DICE Awards...
Instead, we've been talking more about PlayStation, so that's pretty much taboo in this state.
Boo, PlayStation. You dislike... Boo. No, don't dislike us. I'm sorry. The DICE Awards have been announced. Game of the Year nominees are Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Vampire Survivors! Woo! Didn't get snubbed at the actual proper video game awards, the DICE Awards. Vampire Survivor actually getting nominated for some awards, thank God, because they didn't get any awards in the Game Awards. So it's actually up for Game of the Year, which is brilliant. So yeah, Game of the Year, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Stray, and Vampire Survivors. I want Elden Ring to win it, but I got a soft spot for Vampire Survivors, and it's one of our games of the year. If you want to go back and watch our Game of the Year videos, we discussed how much we loved Vampire Survivors. So, I thought we mentioned that the DICE Awards come out. They're usually seen as the more prestigious game awards because I'd say like the Jeff Keighley Game Awards is more like the MTV or the Kids' Choice Awards, whereas the DICE Awards are more like the Oscars. I mean, is that fair? I mean, like that's usually the case. So yeah, I think that's good nominees. I don't know why Stray's in the nominees for Game of the Year, but I didn't understand that in the Jeff Keighley one either. But I was just happy to see Vampire Survivors finally getting the recognition it deserves. I'm really, really happy for that to be in the nominees. I think Elden Ring's probably going to win it though because it's just a masterpiece. What do you think?
Chief, Are you talking about the Dice Awards 2023 and not the Game Awards one last year?
The Dice Awards, yeah. It's the Dice Awards 2023. They announced them this year, this week. The nominees.
Because I just got really a bit mixed up there. But it's the same. It's the same games anyway, but it's got like. But yeah, it's Vampire Survivors is coming up to the Game of the Year, and I think, yeah, do it. But the sad thing about it is, the other games are like the anything that is like available on Xbox apart from Vampire Survivors is Elden Ring. Yeah. Apart from that, 3 games exclusive to PlayStation. So,
if I had to pick
there's
between those 3,
there's no mention of Plague Tale Requiem as well as like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So therefore, it's just like there's not even any Nintendo nominees for the Game of the Year. So that sucks.
Good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice that really. Out of those 3 PlayStation games, I would probably say God of War. Horizon, I'm not first on. Stray, I'm not first on. Elden Ring should win it though. Elden Ring or Vampire Survivors, I hope wins that. I would love it if Vampire Survivors wins it because people would lose their mind. Because people are like, how can this game win? It's all sprites.
It's not that surprising anyway because I know Vampire Survivors is worthy of the Game of the Year, so it's not that surprising. If Dream mentions that as one of the games of the year, then it shouldn't be that much surprise to anybody. But then, if the Vampire Survivors wins the Game of the Year, then it just proves that you don't really have to splash out on all the fancy graphics just to win the Game of the Year. So,
and if it also won the prestigious Xbox the Box Game of the Year and the game that kept us up till 3 o'clock in the morning. And the most underrated game. It's won a lot of awards for us. Our prestigious awards. It won a lot of them. We love Vampire Survivors on this show. If you don't like Vampire Survivors, get out.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's actually played Vampire Survivors who doesn't like it though. It's one of those games that people look at it like, oh, some of these sprites, all look stupid. But as soon as they play it, they go, oh, okay, I kind of get it. Hour later, I love this game. 2 hours later, they're hooked. They're just can't stop playing. It's just...
it just reminds me when I was when I was working on one of those games, which I don't want to elaborate further, but I was in part of a company, and it's well, we made this game, and it's going to have a simplified art, and then when I just sent it out to publishers, it's just oh, it's going to work best as a mobile game because the publishers are expecting realistic graphics or something that takes advantage of a power. If it has ray tracing, they would definitely pick it up. But once the Vampire Survivors wins Game of the Year, this will change the entire environment of how publishers see games, because I think there was too much of a push for photorealistic games. And quite often, it doesn't have enough of the QA to cover everything for bugs. But when you have a game that actually works well and people love it, then it means you do not have to fuss about how the game performs. Because as long as it's fun, then that's all that matters. And that's what you need to be able to get people to understand. But either way, the game business has turned from creating fun experiences to business opportunities, which is why you see a lot of sequels. So it just sucks.
AAA business, AAA gaming is completely bankrupt and completely run out of ideas, devoid of ideas. Indie games is where all the new ideas come. Because basically making a AAA game now, they say it literally will take a life cycle of a console to make a AAA game now. So basically, if someone's making a AAA game now, it'll probably be for the PS6 or for the Xbox Series, I don't know, Z or whatever they want to call it. I think so that means that they can't be as risky. They can't make crazy stuff. They basically have to be really safe, and it's kind of disappointing. That disappoints me. So yeah, Dice Awards. I hope Vampire Survivor wins it, but probably Elden Ring will win it, and that also deserves to win. So I'm happy with that. Just hopefully none of the PlayStation games win it, because I'm a fanboy. So We're going to mention next week's podcast. We're probably going to be a day late, I imagine, because we have the Xbox Developer Direct on the Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So we're going to be doing reactions to that. So we're going to talk about the Direct now. We're going to be hopefully doing live reactions, and they'll go up straight after the show goes up. Like, are we going to record it and then put it up afterwards? I assume that's what we're going to do, or we're going to try and stream it live. Yeah, that's usually what we do.
But at the moment, we got predictions for it, and I'm seeing them on Pure Xbox's article at the moment. Is that where you're getting them from, or is it somewhere else?
I'm just going to come up with my own predictions. Like, you can. But yeah, we know what to expect. They said they're going to show 4 games. They said they're going to show Forza, Redfall, Minecraft Dungeons, or Legends even, and ESO Online, Elder Scrolls Online. This is going to be about 45 minutes long. Do we expect any surprises? Is it going to be like a Nintendo Direct and they go, and here's one more thing, and then it's like, I don't know, Banjo Free or something? Do you think we're going to get any kind of surprises like that? Because it doesn't seem like we're going. It's like they seem to have tried to temper our expectations a bit. I mean, we know that there's not going to be Starfield there. They said they're going to have. It's going to have its own developer direct later on in the year. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get any surprises, or do you think they're going to stick to what they said?
I think at this rate of the Xbox reveals, I just feel more games will be revealed for Game Pass and nothing that is totally new.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I think it's just a case like they probably mention about GoldenEye, which Pure Xbox brings up.
Good call.
But I think it's also likely that they will reveal updates. But we also be seeing more like Forza Motorsport and also to do with what's it called? Starfield
Redfall
as well.
Oh yeah.
And Redfall, yes. But I think it would be great if 343i would be able to reveal some new updates for Halo Infinite.
That'd be good.
Because at the moment, February is going to be really flat, but they already revealed so much for season 3. So at the moment, it's predicted that the DLC and the Battle Royale could be announced from next year. But so far, I think it's just quite likely we may see drops there. But if there's any drops, then we could end up seeing more content for Halo Infinite and nothing else. So don't expect anything for 343i.
So I'm assuming that I think the most logical bet is that we're going to see release dates for these games, these 4 games. ESO obviously is already out, but the other 3 will probably get release dates. Which do you think we're going to see first? Which game do you think is going to come out first? Redfall, Minecraft Legends, or Forza? Out of those 3, which one do you think is going to be the first game to come out? Yeah, I'm thinking Forza. Forza probably. Maybe it might come out next month, February. Is that too much of a push, or maybe March? I don't know.
I think I would say March. That's where I'm having a gut feeling it will come out in March and not on February, because I think that February is it's going to be a month for Hogwarts Legacy, which is going to be a huge fuss because the trans women, trans people like me, were definitely not going to be comfortable with that going around. I imagine people are going to review it highly, but who knows? It's just going to be turned into some kind of big dispute because of J.K. Rowling. But I think that's what's going to be February. So if someone were to release something like Forza Motorsport in March, then that will probably be good. But
then you got the thing I've been thinking about as well, because obviously they also said Starfield with that it's going to. They think everything's going to be coming out before June, right, or around June. So we've got 4 games coming out before June, but then also June we have Diablo 4. Do you want to release a game around Diablo 4? I don't think so. Do you want to release a game around Tears of the Kingdom? Because I think that's going to kill whatever game comes out near it.
Yes.
And then also in March we also are probably going to get Ghostwire Tokyo because the 1 year exclusivity deal for PlayStation is now gone at that point, because we saw Deathloop literally came out the day after the exclusivity ran out on PlayStation. So it's going to be probably the same thing in March. We're probably going to have Ghostwire Tokyo. And Xbox seem to like to do. They like to release this like 4 or 5 games at the same time. I'm hoping they don't do that with this. I'm hoping they're going to spread everything out, and we'll have like a game a month, which would be nice for the first 6 months. But yeah, I don't know what to think, because they do that sometimes. They release Halo 2 weeks after Forza in 2021, and that completely just killed Forza like long tail of like sales and stuff. So and also like sometimes they have the Forza DLC and like a load of other stuff come out at the same time. It's weird. They seem to release everything at the same time all the time, and I'm hoping that they're going to try and keep this spread out. I don't know. I'm rambling a bit. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what's best for. What are they going to do? Because there's so many games to release before June, and there's not enough time. Damn it! There's not enough time.
Look, all we can say is just carry on and see what comes out, because it's better to like know what's coming than just to like keep speculating into circles. But speaking of which, we do have a fantasy critic, so we got some interesting news from it.
Because of guessing what stuff's coming out this year. Hey. Yeah, so if you didn't watch last week, we did our fantasy critic draft where me and Alice, and we also had the PlayStation team of PS We Trust, all picked 10 games that we thought were going to come out this year. We thought were going to be the best reviewed games of the year. We've all added extra games to our team since last week. That's what the update's about. So, last week I drafted 10. Oh, my game's been updated. Yes, I just checked. So I got on Fantasy Critic. I have Fire Emblem Engage, and that's now an 83.2 critic score. So I've actually got a game on my account, which is cool. And you got 2 games.
Yes.
Wow.
And allow me to explain.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Right now, Monster Hunter Rise is higher rated than Fire Emblem Engage.
Damn.
Because you got like 83.2 for the critic.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Rise is actually 87.6.
And
Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 is also like 88.2, but according to Metacritic at the moment, it's now like about 92. So I don't know if this is referring to. Hang on a minute. Yeah, it's on the Switch. Yeah. It's 92, so it should be updated soon. And because of this, as it's released, I got 18 points, which compared to the projection, it's about 3 times as much because it's been rated at 6.5. So I got the first game, and I got 18 points, which puts me in first place.
You're running away with it at the moment.
Yeah, so now I'm just getting some good starter points, whereas you got like Fire Emblem Engage.
So since last week, I've added 5 games to my team. I've added Metroid Prime 4, just in case it does come out, Minecraft Legends, Liza P, Replaced, and Avowed. So if any of those games come out and get reviewed high, that'll be good for me. The PlayStation people have added Death Stranding 2, Star Wars The Knights of the Old Republic remake, Marvel's Wolverine, Season A Letter to the Future, and Stellar Blade. And then what games have you added to your team?
I bet it really highly because I don't know how much I should put on this list.
You went all in for this one. I love it.
Yeah, so I put like $20 on Hollow Knight Silksong and $30 on Pikmin 4.
I was going to say I put a £1 bid on both of those games, so you obviously beat me to those games. So I would have had them in my list if you didn't bid on them and been bid so high.
Yeah,
so that's.
But
I forgot to mention. Yeah, I should explain that. Everyone gets 150 fictional pounds to buy games for the rest of the year. I spent like £6 and bought like 6 games, £1 each. Whereas you went all in and spent £30 on games, but you ended up pinching them from me, so it ended up working out good for you. So you got Hollow Knight and Pikmin off me, basically, which I was going to buy for cheap. I was going to try and get them on the cheap.
Well, I did also make some additional bids. I bidded on Octopath Traveler 2, as well as another game, which I thought I got this free, but unfortunately, it did not appear on my list, and I don't understand why it's happening. So I betted on like Octopath and Suicide Squad, which I did put bids in, and I'm gonna try again because
it updates every week, so your bids won't go through until 3 days, 8 hours, 45 minutes, and 10 seconds from now. Tells you at the top where it says bid. So you should get those games unless I bid on them, which I won't, because I don't really want to get Suicide Squad, to be honest.
Oh, so it will update soon then?
Yeah, it updates at the end of the week. So every week the thing updates. So yeah, we had our 10 games we drafted last week. We've upgraded our teams by I've added 5. PlayStation team have added 5, and you've added 2. But you're winning, so you might have less games than us, but you're in the lead. So what do we know? I thought Fire Emblem Engage was going to get me in the lead, but you've got 2 games that are already higher rated than that coming out this week, which is mad. You're already ahead of me, which is I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm in trouble. I'm in danger.
Okay, so right now I've made a counter bid for Metro Prime 4 because I am absolutely sure that this is not gonna come out.
Wow, ballsy. So you've used your counter pick on my Metro. Wow, ballsy. Well, it's fair. I don't think it's coming out this year either. But I was like, the odd chance it does come out, I want to make sure I have it on my team. Like then I was like, that's the way I thought. It's like the odd chance it might actually come out, I want it on my team just to be safe. So that's why I picked it. Same thing with Avowed. Like those games, I'm like, I know they're going to be bangers when they come out, and it just hopefully they will come out. Fingers crossed. But I agree with you. I don't think it's coming out this year. It'll probably come out 2025 at this rate, 2026, 2027.
Yeah,
it's beyond Good and Evil 2. Levels of development. Speaking of which,
well, mind you, Bayonetta 3 was announced in 2017, and it wasn't until it came out on late 2022. So who knows? Metro Prime 4 may actually come out, but I don't think it will come out this year because we only saw the logo, and that's enough to like. Go into a hissy fit with F-bombs, so much of them that it's actually going to demonetize your reaction.
Yeah, my reaction, I went a bit over the top of it. I love Metroid though, I'm sorry, I just do. So we talked about most of the stuff on the news, but you wanted to mention briefly in the news the EU taking on Microsoft again. So this Microsoft trying to buy Activision thing is... Every episode, basically, if we just kept you updated with that, we could literally do a podcast every week just about this Activision deal, because the amount of stuff that comes out every week about it is ridiculous. I'm kind of bored of it now. I just want the Activision deal to go through. I'm just like,
it's just basically what happened is they're going to face an antitrust warning over the Activision deal, and it just seems that EU will have to keep on persisting to going against the deal, but come on, I mean, it's been going on for so long, and at the moment, it's not just limited to the UK, it's also the EU, who's now, like, going to keep persevering and just prevent this deal from ever happening. And I just think this is just more like trying to say, so it's just like listening to Jim Wine and then feeling that this would mean no Call of Duty on the PlayStation. But it just seems as if they're just asking so much, as if they don't really want this deal to go through. But it's just getting tiring and annoying. And I just feel that Microsoft is just constantly being barraged with a lot of challenges to their deal, and
Yeah.
I just think this is getting really ridiculous now.
I mean, it's just, Candy Crush, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo. Okay, cool. That's it, really. I mean, that's all they really want. They just want to get 4 or 5 gaming franchises added to their business. I don't think it's that. I don't understand why it's such a big deal. If Activision becomes a part of Xbox, like Xbox becomes a bigger company, which is good for competition, right? And then they would still be smaller than PlayStation and Tencent. So I don't understand it. It's weird to me that there's so much there's so much like stuff so much to do with this deal. Like, even if Xbox do buy Activision, Ubisoft's still a thing, EA's still a thing, Tencent's still a thing, Sony, Nintendo, Capcom, Sega. You could go on forever. There's companies like I don't understand why this is such a big deal, because like Disney buying Fox, that was literally like the first place buying third place in the movie thing, and like literally most of the literally Disney owns everything now. Yet that went through like pretty much seamlessly, whereas this is like it's so many as far as I'm aware, this has got so much more legal ramifications going for it. It's mad to me that it's still. Yeah, I don't get the legal why this is taking so long. To be honest, it's just annoying me at this point.
I do have a news flash here. Microsoft has now confirmed that today, by 2:30 p.m. on Eurogamer, that they are going to cut 10,000 jobs for Microsoft.
Shoo, damn! I didn't, that's news. I didn't know that. Oh, that sucks.
And in a public statement in a public statement on the matter, as according to Microsoft, they are blaming on the global recession and the change in spending habits from consumers as the reason for their cuts. So it's like, getting your profits down. Well, just cut down jobs. And this is the same kind of tactic that if the bosses have reduced profits, they cut down their workforce. So it's not great.
Not good. That's not good. We're thoughts and prayers go out to anyone who's lost their jobs. We sympathise and hope that you're doing okay. That sucks. That really does suck. I hate that.
Now, according to Satya Nadella, so I'm just going to pick up little snippets from the Microsoft blog.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're confident that Microsoft will emerge on this stronger and more competitive, but it requires us to take actions grounded in 3 priorities. First, we want to align our cost structure with our revenue and where we see customer demand. Today, we are making changes that will result in a reduction of our overall workforce by 10,000 jobs through the end of financial year of 2023, called the third quarter. This represents less than 5% of our total employee base, with some notifications happening today. 5%, but this is still loads of jobs being cut.
That's a lot of people. 10,000 people is a lot. That's not a small percentage. Jesus.
That's way more than the podcast we're doing today.
Yeah, there's just 2 of us.
And second, we will continue to invest in strategic areas of our future, meaning we are allocating both our capital and talent to areas of speculative growth and long-term competitiveness of the company, while divesting in other areas. These are kinds of hard choices we have made throughout our 47-year history to maintain a credential company in this industry that is unforgiving to anyone who doesn't adapt to platform shifts.
Damn. Well, that sucks.
And they're also like trying to increase the diversity of their workspaces. So,
okay.
And third, we will treat our people with dignity and respect and act transparently.
Okay. That's all that means.
These decisions are difficult but necessary. They're especially difficult because they impact people's lives, our colleagues and friends. And then they're going to have the full support during their transitions. And they will get benefits once they get their jobs cut. But I think they're just aiming to provide become more competitive and focusing more innovations. Yeah. But then again, I think it's just more of a case of Microsoft thinking, oh, it's not working, so we have to like cut down people there. So it just sucks real big time.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. That sucks, though. I don't like that. That's ugh. Well, on that news, should we move on to our topic of the show? Because that's a bit of a bummer. Let's try and go a bit lighthearted, I think. Even though it's not really lighthearted.
Yeah, the very reason of this clickbaity thumbnail.
Yeah. Boop boop clickbait of the week. Topic of the show. Boop boop doo. Should Xbox buy Ubisoft? No, probably not. What?
Why not?
Because Ubisoft sucks.
It's more money.
No, I don't mind Ubisoft. What is going on with Ubisoft at the moment? I mean, it's mind-boggling. They're having basically their estimated profits are lower than they expected. Sparks of Mario Rabbit Sparks of Hope did not sell as well as they thought it would, and other Ubisoft games didn't sell as well as they thought they would. So now they're lowering their expectations. They've also cancelled 4 games that were announced. They've delayed Skull and Bones again, for like the 200th time. Beyond Good of Evil 2 is still in development somehow, even though it's been in development for like 15, 16 years now.
And keeps jumping sharks.
Yeah, I don't. So I mean, Ubisoft. Something's going on with Ubisoft at the moment, and I mean, the clickbaity title is kind of has a bit of fact to it. I mean, usually like Activision was going through a really bad transitional period, where they were like losing, where they were having all this horrible sexual harassment stuff going on, and people were having horrible job placements and stuff, and so basically, Xbox bought them when they were at their lowest, whereas I feel like Ubisoft are at their lowest now. I could see Xbox trying to swoop in and buy them while they're at their low point. Don't you think that? I mean, that's a possibility. But then I don't know.
I think that's a good tactic. Like, if the companies are feeling down, buy them. But I think if Microsoft, if were to not face any issues, they should be buying Sega and Atlas instead of like having to deal with Ubisoft or Activision. But right now, Activision's that once Microsoft takes ownership of them, it just means they got a huge portion of all those intellectual properties there, which is why people are absolutely going nuts about Microsoft buying it. But then I don't know whether it's going to be less severe if they do decide to get Sega instead. So
I prefer Sega myself to Ubisoft, but yeah, it's just before we mention it because obviously something's going on in Ubisoft. They're not doing very well at the moment. They're having a bit of a bad time. Xbox can give you some money to make some games. I mean, Ubisoft is baffling to me because they chase trends. They're chasing after the battle royale thing and they're doing NFTs and all this crap. All they have to do is make a Splinter Cell game and they'll sell fucking millions. People love Splinter Cell and they just won't make a new Splinter Cell game for some reason. What are you doing, Ubisoft?
Instead, they make Rainbow Six games, and it's got like NFTs and microtransactions too. But then I think the Splinter Cell might actually convince people. But bear in mind, they haven't got on. They just couldn't get more games out when there's obviously some good opportunities. But bear in mind that Splinter Cell was the original was an Xbox exclusive back in 2002. Yeah.
We love the original. I love the original Splinter Cell. Such a good game. So far ahead of its time as well.
Would I remind you that you were 13 when it came out? Because it's like old. 20 years ago.
That makes me feel old. Don't say that. Yeah, I mean, Assassin's Creed, they've milked to death. Watch Dogs has gone a bit weird. Far Cry, people have kind of lost interest in it. It's like, Ubisoft, you need to do something here. They think this. I can't remember the wording of it. It was something like they only want to make like profitable franchises or like big franchise games now. They only want to make games that they guarantee to make money from. So they're basically being less risk averse, which is like we were saying earlier about how AAA games are becoming more and more risk averse. But this is like the prime example here is Ubisoft. They've got a Star Wars game in development, so that's they've got an Assassin's Creed game in development, but don't expect anything really unique.
I thought the Star Wars is being managed by EA, so
No,
Ubisoft working on it.
they've got the Star Wars license is available to everyone now. It used to be just EA. Now everyone has access to it. So Ubisoft are
Well,
making the people who made the Division are making an open world Star Wars game. So that should be fun if that's any good. So the people who made the Division.
well, bear in mind, there's also Avatar games coming out
Oh,
by
and the Avatar
Ubisoft.
game. Yeah, I forgot about that. Ugh, I can't stand Avatar. Anyway, I don't understand why that's the second. I don't understand why that's the highest grossing film of all time, and I don't understand why people have gone to see the second one because the first one was shite. I don't understand. Don't understand it.
Well, I'm
Off
interested to
topic.
watch the second one though, but as for the Ubisoft game version of it, it's just like I'm not that fast, and I think they only like mentioned it. But to be honest, I'm not expecting a lot much from Ubisoft because the last thing they actually brought out that is infinitely good is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
Oh, I love that game.
Unfortunately, the remaster wasn't well received because it was basically porting it over to the newest systems.
Yeah. I think Black Flag was really good. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was a really good game as well. That was probably my last favourite Assassin's Creed game. They've got all RPG style with it now, and they've become super bloated. They feel like almost like not as good versions of The Witcher as like the latest games in the Assassin's Creed series. Like they become more like RPGs with lots of like stats and stuff, and I'm not interested in that. I preferred the original Assassin's Creeds. Assassin's Creed 2 is still one of my favourite games of all time. Assassin's Creed 4 is really good as well. Those are my two favourites. But yeah, I don't know. Ubisoft. What are you doing, Ubisoft? You like it's something. It's not smooth sailing at Ubisoft at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on, and yeah, maybe it'd be easy if they just sold themselves to someone. If Sony bought Ubisoft or something, that would be crazy. Could you imagine? Like the amount of how crazy that would be. Or I don't know. What do you think?
I just would say that Microsoft should buy Blood Dragon, but this would mean buying
Blood
Far
Dragon.
Cry because that's what's part of it. But I think there's a lot of potential in that. But
Yeah.
bear in mind, I hate to bring it up, but Rooster Teeth for like being like oring over the Ubisoft games, and I think they just also got like the board games and Uno. So if
okay.
Microsoft were to buy them, just imagine so much opportunities for them to utilize these board games. But then again, people would view it as if they actually got a real monopoly in their hands.
Hey. I like it. But yeah, obviously, if they did buy Ubisoft, I couldn't see it happening until the Activision deal's gone through. I feel like everything's kind of on a standstill until Activision's done. Because I feel like they want to buy Crystal Dynamics, maybe buy Focus Home. There's a couple of smaller teams I can see them wanting to buy, but they just can't at the moment because of this Activision deal. Ubisoft would be an interesting one. I don't know how much Ubisoft would go for. I don't think it'd be the 69 billion Activision goes for, but it'd be interesting to see if it did go on sale, especially because it's on it's an all-time low at the moment. Assassin's Creed franchise is quite profitable, but I don't know how much.
I would say that Ubisoft could sell like half the price of an Activision deal.
Yeah, maybe.
But then it could be much lower, like 1 billion. I don't know.
£10.50 and a packet of crisps.
No, no, that would be rather sloppy. Because I think you're talking about prices for Sega.
Well, it's the fact that I don't understand how the prices work half the time, because it's the fact that all Square Enix sold all their Western developers for 300 grand or 300 million even, which is like nothing compared to like every other developer. It's like, what the hell's going on? Prices are just so all over the place. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think that as far as I know, that I think if anything, Microsoft could actually gain some rights to Ubisoft so they can get the games on Game Pass and nothing else. Because there's Uplay, which is like on PC, and if Microsoft were to take ownership of it, it just means they can like fold it into their own business, and instead we see like Ubisoft games coming on Xbox Game Pass, because
Yeah.
if there's one thing I honestly feel that the Uplay is actually start of their downfall, because
Yeah.
once they start to have their own distribution service, which they're trying to get away from Steam, I think this is when they went down, because they tried to have this platform where people can like get Ubisoft games, except it's just not that intuitive.
No.
And I think it's them like trying to play EA Origin, except it didn't really turn out well.
No.
So I really think as if Ubisoft could have stuck to Steam, but no. I just feel this is a good opportunity as well for Microsoft to actually take over the Uplay business and then fold it into the Game Pass as well. Because I think Ubisoft is trying to get away from the Steam economy, which they obviously failed, and now they're just struggling more and more every year with their games, because it used to be one of the biggest publishers in the world, and they even have their own E3 shows.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Sorry, my microphone cut off a bit there, so I missed some of that. But yeah, I mean, Ubisoft is such a big company. It's like, yeah, I don't know what to say now. I'm just that complete. My dog like knocked the cable out, and I'm trying to plug it back in, so totally throw me off. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, I don't know what to do with Ubisoft. Like, they got some good franchises. They got, as I said, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. They got the Tom Clancy stuff. They got Just Dance. They got Rabbids. They got Rayman. They could do some stuff with it. They have potential. I'm hoping Ubisoft are going to turn a corner soon and just start making good stuff again. Because there was a period where Ubisoft was like one of the best developers in the world, and then they just fell off a cliff again, and now they're just chasing trends. I feel like they need to just come out and just do, be the trendsetters, not the trend followers. I think they need to start doing experiments and stuff.
I think the most likely opportunities would be for Microsoft to buy Uplay so they can bring the games to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or they could even like buy the board game franchises like Hasbro and bring it to Microsoft, because they can do a lot more of those compared to the Ubisoft games.
That's
because
true.
I think it would be too difficult for Microsoft to deal with, ever since they just got into a huge dispute with their Activision deal. So I just say that they're probably going to secure some properties of Ubisoft without actually buying the entire publisher.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue with the Ubisoft thing is that I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I think the PlayStation Plus have a deal with Ubisoft. So a lot of the Ubisoft games go to PlayStation Plus, Essential and Premium, or whatever they're called. PlayStation Plus Plus and PlayStation Plus 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 get Ubisoft games. They get Ubisoft games, whereas Xbox get all the EA Play games. So I think that's partly what it is as well. So they would have to try and make a deal with PlayStation to get that, or like they'd have to outbid PlayStation for the Ubisoft games as well if they were going to do that.
Well, actually, I think they would not really get to PlayStation at this rate, because PlayStation absolutely minds about the Activision deal. But it's not like it's not too difficult for them to get the Ubisoft games across, because there's a few Ubisoft games that are already on the Game Pass. So, like Assassin's Creed Origins, so they might actually have some good opportunity to bring more games to it. But who knows?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point. There is Assassin's Creed Origins. I forgot about that. So there is some Ubisoft games. But yeah, for some reason, Ubisoft games seem to be going to PlayStation Plus at some point. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think Xbox should buy Ubisoft? Let us know in the comments below. I think it would be an interesting purchase. Obviously, we have to wait for Activision to get done first before we start thinking about new companies, I think. But I do think they're not going to be done after Activision. They still want to buy more. So, curious.
I agree.
I would love to have all the Assassin's Creed games on Game Pass, all the Assassin's Creed games, all the Call of Duty games, and then all the Bethesda games all on Game Pass for like £10 a month. I would be a happy person. Be very, very happy.
And all the Una games on Game Pass too.
Ooh, Uno, yes, I'm sold. Oh, hell yeah, Uno.
Do you remember the game that's come out on Xbox 360? There was an Uno game for it. But now it's just being re-released because Ubisoft now owns rights to it. So,
I didn't know that.
So Microsoft has to buy them back. And then we can make Uno great again.
Make Uno great again. That should be the name of this episode.
Sorry for sounding like a white ring crazy though.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? I think they may end up turning Uno into top trumps once the Microsoft buys it.
I love it. That's funny. Yeah, so I think that's it really for this episode of Xbox the Box. Unless there's anything else you wanted to discuss before we wrap up.
Yeah, I think pretty much it. But I think at the moment, in terms of Uno, Microsoft could probably pull the reverse card, and so is PlayStation. But then, who knows? At the moment, it's just like Microsoft trying to score the Uno with Activision, and the PlayStation is calling for a challenge.
They keep trying to draw 4 cards. I don't know how you can bring 4 cards. Draw 4 cards. I like Uno. Uno's fun. I was going to say something. I totally. Oh yeah. So a reminder: next week, our podcast may be a day late because of the Xbox Developer Direct. Because we don't want to do a podcast and then have to have all this Xbox news come out after the podcast, and it makes no sense. So we're probably going to do it a day later, I think. But you won't be able to. If you were like, oh no, I'm not going to see Alice or Potato or Lewis or whatever. We're not going to see him for a whole day. I'm just going to be so sad. You can see our reactions on the night of the direct, hopefully. So you still get your fill. You still get 45 minutes of us talking.
Come on, there's only less than 40 subscribers to this channel. In fact, if you really want to support us, subscribe to our channel. Give us a like.
That would help.
If you're listening to YouTube, though.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Because we hit 37 subscribers. We're on episode 36. Can we keep the subscriber level higher than the episode level? I would appreciate that. If we could keep getting a new subscriber at least one every week, and we can keep ahead of our subscribers, I would really appreciate that. That should be our goal. And if we get to 100 subscribers by the end of 2023, I don't know, we'll do something fun. That'd be cool. I would love that. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, subscribe, comment, share, follow me on Patreon, on Twitter, and all that stuff, and share this video with your grandmother and your stepsister and your dog if they like.
Best to wrap this up before people get bored of it.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm offended. All right, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, too sweet. Later, guys. Bye.
Bye.